Welcome to today's episode. We have a very exciting guest, Dr. Damodar Sahu, co-founder and chief growth officer at Data Safeguard, a world's leading AI-powered data privacy management and synthetic fraud prevention. For those of you just joining the podcast, we are the Intelligent Edge podcast sponsored by Optivara AI, and we specialize in helping emerging tech companies scale their revenue. So if you want to learn how to take your SaaS business to the next level, make sure to stick around. And if you're interested in a free growth consultation, drop us the word growth in the DMs. Damodar, thanks so much for jumping on today. Where are you calling from?
Hey, thank you, Matthew. Pleasure to be here. I am in Troy City, Detroit Metropolitan, Michigan.
Awesome. And I saw that Data Safeguard has recently been recognized by Forrester and IDC. Congratulations on that momentum. And of course, I noticed the funding round in March to fuel R&D expansion. Really exciting milestone and really exciting time to be at Data Safeguard. As I mentioned, it's great to connect with you. Here's how the conversation will go. We'll start with your role and background. Talk about industry trends that you're seeing in the data privacy and fraud space. Next, we'll dive into current challenges and priorities that you're seeing over the next 12 to 18 months. And finally, wrap up with your future goals and closing thoughts. Whole thing should be about 15, 20 minutes. That still work for you?
Yep, super. Thank you, Matthew.
Awesome. So, I'd love to start off with the audience understanding, who is Data Safeguard and, learning a little bit more about your role as co-founder and chief growth officer and how it really ties into that broader vision for Data Safeguard.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. And when I look back, my journey has really been about evaluation from curiosity to conviction. When I started my career as a consultant to technologist to building partner ecosystem, understanding the pulse of data. And over time, I realized that technology alone doesn't change the world. Purpose driven technology does. So when prior to Data Safeguard, when I was in Wipro, I led the ecosystem and partnership growth globally, which gave me a deep understanding of how collaboration fuels innovation. But there was something missing, the soul of data. That's why what led me to join the founding team at Data Safeguard, where our mission is very simple yet profound: to make data privacy not just a compliance, but a requirement, but a human right. So, as co founder and chief growth officer, I see my role as the bridge between technology and trust, between data and dignity, between growth and governance.
Awesome. And thank you so much for that overview and great to have you connect with our audience. You've obviously been at the forefront of digital transformation for decades. As we continue to see shifts in this current environment and potentially future shifts, what are you seeing in the data privacy and fraud prevention landscape?
Great question, Mathu. So, we are living in what I call it the age of cognitive paradox. What does it mean? AI is making decisions faster than humans can be comprehend, right? And yet, it is also amplifying risk we don't fully understand. So let me give you a couple of example. What exactly the massive shifts are happening? Let's say the rise of synthetic identities, like fraudsters. Today, they don't just scale or steal identities; they create them. The data breaches are actually leading to the synthetic fraud. And with generative AI and fake digital personas are becoming almost indistinguishable from real human. I mean, nobody can actually identify whether it's real or fake. Then, second, the regulator acceleration. Governments are catching up very fast. From GDPR in Europe to, let's say, CCPA, CPRA, let's say PPDA in Canada, and let's say India has recently adopted a law called DPDP, right? Almost 144 countries on earth, they have the privacy law, and it's evolving, like US privacy framework, right? We are seeing, let's say, EU AI Act, right? So we are seeing a web of global harmonization, and privacy is becoming policy, and compliance is becoming a culture, right? Then the third shift, the shift from reactive to predictive privacy. Traditional systems wait for a breach to act, but the future is about anticipating risk through responsible or ethical AI, right? Detecting vulnerables before they become violation. So this is where the synthetic fraud prevention will save the next decade. Because if you don't trust who is on the other side of this transaction, you don't trust the transaction itself. So that's why at Data Safeguard, we built ID Privacy, world's #1 privacy management platform, powered by our patented and responsible ethical AI called CCE, Cognizable Engine. It empowers organizations to comply with, let's say, information privacy, communication privacy, and individual privacy requirement, while reducing risk, cost, and fines. The platform, the patented technology I talk about, CCE, Cognizable Computing Engine, which automates compliance across global privacy laws, shorten timelines to implement, reduce workload on the client's internal team, and it is deployable in data center or cloud container within 2 weeks. It delivers return on investment in 4 to 6 weeks. So built on the privacy by design framework, our ID privacy is anchored in 7 tenets like universal consent management, confidential data discovery, privacy impact assessment, data subject access request, confidential data redaction, and compliance audit, all put together, let's say, that data privacy management. And all the modules are seamlessly pre-integrated and into a single Docker image. So it doesn't require much effort from the client's technology team. So that is all about, Data Safeguard in nutshell.
An incredible story, and it's just a testament to what's really needed when you see story after story in the news, right, of the big breaches. The MGM. There's just so many instances where
Really?
identity and privacy have been preventative measures could have maybe prevented those massive breaches, putting lots of customer data at stake and at risk. What has been working very well for Data Safeguard today? And obviously there are some other competitors in the market. Big OneTrust, Big ID. So I'm curious how you'd like to describe kind of the market and how you're playing well in it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, another great question, Matthew. The story of Data Safeguard started not in a boardroom, but in a conversation, while talking to a few customers, like between vision and vulnerability, right? We ask ourselves, let's all ask ourselves, a very uncomfortable question. Can AI safeguard what AI disrupt? That question became our North Star. That's why I talk about it earlier. ID Privacy, a unified AI-powered data privacy and synthetic fraud prevention platform. It helps organizations. I told you how automatically you can manage their data across jurisdiction, across privacy risk, and prevent fraud, right? And all while maintaining ethical AI governance. So let's say our secret sauce, a patented framework. We call it CC. I mentioned earlier. It's a built on responsible and ethical AI. When incumbents like you told, OneTrust, Big ID, focus on workflows and compliance checklist, we go beyond into the realm of trust assurance, right? So our platform doesn't just automate, it illuminate. What does that mean? It teaches organizations to see privacy as a value creation, not as a cost center. What is working today in our ecosystem-led growth model? We built the partnership with Big Four consulting, global system integrators, boutique partners, tech leaders, and our early stage customers are becoming our design partner, right? That are actually embedded in our solutions, into the privacy-based design, then this becomes very easy. And the most beautiful part, we are scaling not by noise, but by trust. Our clients are our evangelists, right? As I told you, the early stage clients they become our design partner. Now, as we scale, we focus at this moment majorly on the regulatory industry like banking, financial services, insurance, health tech, healthcare, retail, smart tech, telecom, high tech, fintech, of course, government as well, who have been measurable impact in both compliance and customer confidence. Every 39 seconds there is a data breach happening, and US alone paid, I think, 23 billion fine last year, right? So data breach will happen, but how we can actually safeguard those data, like we call it, privacy is the first line of defense. No security comes in periphery. Yeah.
And you mentioned one thing I heard you say is scale, right? And how we're scaling this data safeguard and the journey that we're on. You've mentioned previously, we've got some bold goals, right? And there's a lot of money in cybersecurity right now. We want to be in the next 2 years at 100 million in revenue to set ourselves up to get that $1 billion valuation, something we're seeing very achievable in the cybersecurity market because of the demand for it. How would you outline your plan to get there?
Oh yeah. So let's say, as I told you, I mean, rightly you said, I mean, people have actually invested and the startups have grown on cybersecurity, 20 years ago, right? Forgetting the actual privacy, where privacy matters, right? Where privacy is the first line of defense, right? Security comes in the periphery. So our ambition without alignment is basically any organization can do it, right? So let's say our growth story actually rests on three pillars. That is purpose. We exist to make privacy human. Every line of code we write must protect someone's rights to dignity or digital identity, right? Partnership, you can't go alone. You can go a little bit, right? Alone, right? So we have moved, from founder-led sales to direct sales. Now we have, of course, will be more on partnership as well, right? So that we can tap the global market. And we believe in co-innovation, right? And growth happens faster when ecosystem thrives together, right? Like investors, partners, your early stage customers, regulators, and customers, right? Then of course we all know that people, the heart of data safeguard, our culture is built on, let's say, curiosity, compassion, and continuous learning, right? So we are also investing heavily in AI ethics research and privacy ops automation. That's why we have set up our global R&D center and global policy collaboration with regulators. And because the future of privacy is not built in silos, right? It's built in synergy. So if there is one challenge I wish I could solve today, that would be global privacy interoperability, right? Imagine a world where data flows freely, cross-border, right? Even, but ethically, where the borders do not limit trust. That is the future where actually we are building. So as you talk about, yes, we are on a mission to make our company to a billion-dollar company by valuation by 2028, and we are on track at this moment.
And we love to hear that. And I'm sure there's some goals in there that we would love to dig into further as well that help us get there. When we think about that, obviously there will be their challenges or um, you know, roadblocks as is in every emerging tech journey. Where would you say the biggest hurdles for the team are right now? I know is it scaling the team? Is it really just creating that awareness amongst some of these more established players?
Uh, as I told you, we are actually at this moment, if I declare it proudly, we are actually recognized as the global number one data privacy player because of our automation, the cognitive computing engine I talk about, built on responsible and ethical AI, CCE, and it's patented. And we started replacing our competitor, right? I mean, and our customers say that uh, they lack on innovation in terms of automation and complex pricing structure. So ours is very simple, plug and play. Within 2 weeks you can actually install in a very large enterprise, right? And with a single Docker image, I told you earlier. Of course, struggles internally, I mean, this is AI, there is I can say a little bit challenge on hiring the right people globally, especially the AI/ML engineer. People should come with a very privacy background, law background, the subject matter expert, right? But we are still trying to manage it, yeah, at this moment. But one challenge, the interoperability I told earlier, right? I think that is not in our control. I mean, all government has to come and they can do a syndicate, right? I mean, let's say cross-border data transfer, right? And every country has a different law, right? Started with, let's say, GDPR, and I told 144 countries on earth have a privacy law, right? So you have to have some interoperability. Anyway, that is with the regulatory.
Yeah, and scaling and monitoring all of those different regulations that are
Yes.
coming out on a almost daily basis, it seems, can be a challenge in itself.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Um, but again, we're super excited to continue to follow along with the journey. Um, On a bit of a personal note, right? You often speak about health, happiness, and balance. How does that philosophy influence your leadership style as you continue to help scale this team?
That's a great question. I don't know. I mean, people always say that always put a smile on my face. Maybe I'm literally blessed, right? And yeah, so that comes automatically. But I genuinely believe you can't grow a company if you don't grow yourself, right? uh, yeah, if I'm not happy inside, I can't be happy inside. If I'm not happy in my home with my family, the same Damodar is moving to, let's say, office or in a social gathering, right? So it will reflect. So I always believe that, you can't grow a company if you can't grow yourself. So let's say health, happiness, and harmony are my three non-negotiable, right? I maintain myself. Thanks God. Also, I have learned that when leaders are grounded in gratitude and clarity, their team mirror that energy. That's why at Data Safeguard we celebrate both performance as well as purpose. So when it is an intern's first breakthrough, or a milestone deal, or a intern getting converted to a full-time role, we celebrate with the same spirit, the same joy, because in the end, growth is not about beating competition. It's about becoming a better version of yourself every day, right? So that is what I believe.
And that's beautifully said. And I don't think a single viewer could deny the massive smile and excitement that you've had on during this entire conversation when talking about both personal and professional um, kind of trajectory and the excitement that Data Safeguard brings to your face. As we close out, what would be a message you'd like to leave our listeners? Obviously, you've done a lot from scaling different organizations and now leading a rocket ship, as it seems, in Data Safeguard.
Matthew, thank you. So we are entering an era where machines are learning faster than humanity is evolving, right? The real question is, can AI think, or it's can AI care? So my message to everyone watching this, or founders, leaders, dreamers, is this: don't chase disruption, chase responsibility, because the future doesn't belong to the fastest, it belongs to the most trustworthy. At Data Safeguard, our mission is simple: to safeguard futures, not just for companies, but for communities, for cultures, and for generation to come. Because when technology solves humanity, trust becomes the ultimate innovation. So from code to consciousness, how responsible AI is redefining privacy, trust, and growth. That is what our single mission at Data Safeguard. Thank you, Matthew.
And that was fantastic. And again, thank you, Dr. Damodar Sahu, Chief Growth Officer and co-founder of Data Safeguard. We really appreciate the insights, and I know our listeners will too. And we're so excited to follow along with the journey. Once we've wrapped this up, we'll share the full series with you, and for you to be able to share with your audience as well. So once again, thank you very much. Looking forward to have you on potential future episodes.
Thank you, Matthew, for having me here today. Thank you all.
Thank you, Damodar.